Yes. Even if I was able to initiate sleep within less than 30 minutes, even if I'm able to maintain the sleep, achieve 85% of sleep time, if by the time I wake up from that sleep, I do not feel refreshed to continue with the day's activity, something is also wrong. So that is where another assessment of good sleep quality, because there are many assessments to assess it. One of them is the Pittsburgh Sleep Quality Index, Epworth Sleep. There are some scale that we use to assess them, and in these scales, these components that I've just mentioned, they are embedded in them. So for somebody not to feel refreshed to continue his or her daily activity, something is also wrong. Then the fourth component is the sleep duration.
Yeah. I wanted us to talk about that last because of the question. During the sleep duration, you mentioned for the adult 7 to 9 hours. So in a case where the person just wants a siesta or a short nap, so how do you quantify that now?
I'm very happy that you are bringing this point, because part of the things we'll be discussing when we are talking about sleep, as you know, I mentioned behavioral, environmental. Yes. Part of the things we need to take note of. If you are observing good sleep hygiene, it means even the number of hours you have when it comes to your siesta is very, very important. If you are having your siesta beyond 3 p.m., then it means it will affect your night sleep, which you need a longer time to actually sleep.
There is actually a time frame for observing.
Yes, if you must have your siesta, sir, it must occur before 3 p.m. and it shouldn't be greater than 1 hour.
Wow.
In 24 hours.
I bet you didn't know this.
So that is part of the component of the sleep hygiene we are discussing.
Wow, interesting. Okay, so now let's talk about environmental practices for sleep hygiene.
The environmental practices are very, very important, even though the behavioral components are very, very. When we are talking about the environmental practices, we are talking about how will the environment, we are talking about a conducive environment for sleeping. And I will explain it to us. It means the lighting system of where you will sleep is very, very important.
Lighting?
Yes, the lighting. In the sense that most people sleep with their light on. If you sleep with your light on, yes, over time, your body may force itself to adjust. But there is something very important that if you are sleeping, the environment should be dark. You may have other source of lightning outside where you are, maybe in the other rooms, it may be light, but that part of the place where you are sleeping needs to be dark. And it has a reason for it. Because there is a part of the brain that regulates sleep. And that is the pineal gland. And for the pineal gland to release a particular hormone, we're talking about a particular substance that will facilitate your sleep. That substance, which we call melatonin, is actually released very in large quantity when the environment is actually dark. No wonder humans will fall asleep when it is night, because God has actually set it in a way that once night comes, that particular part of the brain in the pineal gland releases that substances. So I mentioned one point, which is the lightning. Then at times we downplay the fact that, yes, somebody will say, I can sleep in a noisy environment. But suffice to mention that sleep hygiene is actually meant for everybody. Even though the genesis or the introduction of that term or the coining of that term, sleep hygiene, actually started for patients that have insomnia. But research has shown that it is better to encourage people to cultivate good sleep hygiene even before any pathology actually comes up, when we make any condition or any disease condition. Because research has proven that with good sleep hygiene, even when somebody is having a problem with our sleep, maybe from depression, from stroke, from diabetes, but with that good sleep hygiene, the tendency for that person to still fall asleep with that same those pathology or those conditions is actually very high. So sleep hygiene is actually meant for you. So somebody will say, I can sleep even with the environment being noisy. But the point is, for the environment to be conducive, it needs to be quiet. So that even if you are staying close to a train station, then you may have to get some other devices like earmuffs to plug your ears, so that whether you like it or not, you may even be affecting your ears. And there are certain parts of the brain that need to be stimulated. And if they are not stimulated, just give it time. Somebody may come down with sleep problem.